We are so thrilled to be partnering with Hinge. Hinge is the dating app designed to be deleted. As you all know, I'm a huge Hinge advocate as I met my partner of almost 3 years on the app. Even before meeting him, Hinge was always my go-to app because I met more relationship-minded people here and had some great dates. Clearly, I haven't been on the app for a little while, but I re-downloaded it to check out some of the new features. One that stood out to me was the voice prompt, my best friend's take on why you should date me, where your friend can hype you up. Not only does this make the profile creation less daunting, but it's not always easy to see your own green flags. So to test it out, I asked Yue some fun prompts to get her take on what I could put if I was dating again. So the first one, how long have we known each other? What was your first impression of me and how has that changed?
Julie and I have known each other for almost 10 years. My first impression of Julie was that she's very social, but I've learned that she has a lot more depth to her beyond the social butterfly that she is.
My next prompt, what do you think are my green flags?
I would say she's deeply loyal. She believes in love, curious mindset, and she is fearlessly ambitious.
And then last but not least, what kind of friend am I?
Julie is the kind of friend who will always have your back, no matter what.
Damn, that feels nice to hear. So download Hinge and try voice prompts today. Then find someone worth deleting the app for. As you know, I recently left my corporate job and I've been in total recovery mode, all about self-care. One of my new routines is the nighttime shower before bed. There's just something about washing away the day and that reflection that's been super helpful for me. I've been using one of our partners, Osea's Mega Moisture Duo. This combo body oil and body lotion are so freaking incredible. It literally feels like I'm at a spa. I realized that the secret is seaweed and other skin level ingredients that are normally reserved for face products. And that's why I was so excited when Osea became one of our partners. And, we're so grateful for partners like this because one, they keep the show going, but they're also super good for all of our listeners and for our own well-being. So if you want to have that nighttime bliss like I am doing, you can get 10% off your first order site-wide with code DATEABLE at oseamalibu.com. You'll get free samples with every order and free shipping on orders over $60. So head to oseamalibu.com and use the code DATEABLE for 10% off. Let us know which products you end up going with, share them in social. Super excited to see what you end up choosing.
Living with ADHD can be a challenge, and dating with ADHD is definitely a challenge. We've heard many of you say, but finding the right care and proper tools needed to succeed can be life-changing. Done is an online ADHD care platform that can get you all the resources you need to help manage your ADHD. Online visits, refills, and a 24/7 care team made for you. In just 1 minute, Done's online assessment can help kickstart your ADHD treatment journey. With experienced clinicians, worry-fill refills, and online visits, you can start getting personalized care as soon as today or tomorrow. So contact an expert team that can help you around the clock and get a personalized treatment plan just for you. Here's how you do it. Take a free 1-minute assessment and book an appointment with a licensed ADHD clinician as soon as the next day. Get continuous care, one-click refills, insurance coverage, and 24/7 care team support with Done for just $79 a month, and pharmacy copays as low as $0. Visit get.donefirst.com/podcast to learn more. That's get.donefirst.com/podcast to learn more. Done. Turn ADHD into your strength.
I was so excited to get my shipment from Last Bottle Wines in the mail the other day, full of incredible red wines, all from Napa Valley. I love wine tasting, so having this to my door couldn't be happier. Also, couldn't be more excited that today's episode is brought to you by Last Bottle Wines. If you don't know already, they're a Napa-based online wine shop with a twist. They offer just one handpicked wine per day until it sells out, and they're always at incredible prices. We're talking 30 to 70% off retail. And the best part is that there's no subscriptions, no fees, and no minimum purchase. And I could not be more excited to bring this offer right now because they're having a marathon sale, which is coming up March 28th and 29th. Even better, we're offering Dateable listeners 10% off your first order with code DATEABLE. So if you are a wine lover like me, this is a great time to join. And did I mention that shipping is 100% free? So what are you waiting for? Mark your calendar for March 28th and 29th, or get on it earlier if you want. You can sign up at lastbottlewines.com and use code DATEABLE and find out why Last Bottle is the most fun way to discover and buy amazing wine.
The Dateable podcast is hosted by me. I'm Yue, a former dating coach in New York turned active dater in San Francisco. On each episode, you'll hear commentary by my producer, Julie Kraftchick, and other surprise co-hosts. This episode of Dateable is brought to you by 500 Brunches. 500 Brunches connects like-minded people with similar interests to meet in real life over brunch. You answer a quick questionnaire about your interests and how you spend your time, and then they'll match you in small groups of 6 to 8 at a brunch spot in San Francisco. Get a free entry into a brunch now by signing up at 500brunches.com and using the code DATEABLE. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Dateable, a show all about dating in San Francisco. Now, we open up the conversation about dating, modern romance, all of the above, and today I have a guest with me. His name is Harrison. Just a little bit of stats for you. He is 25 years old. He's been in San Francisco for 3 years, originally from New Jersey.
New Jersey, in the house. We're in the house. We're here.
Jersey,
no fist bumping. We're not fist bumping.
Jersey Shore? No.
Not really the shore, near Philly. 20 minutes from Philly.
Okay.
So inland.
There's a huge
But we went
difference.
to the shore. We went to
Gotcha.
Atlantic City.
What is
back
it,
in the day.
GTL?
GTL.
Yeah.
Gym, tan, laundry.
Yeah. Yeah.
All three equally important, of course.
His relationship status is single, and he's been single for a whopping 2 weeks.
2 weeks. It's crazy.
How do you do it? You know, it's like a dry spell.
I'm back
for
in
you.
the game. The game. It's here. I almost forget it. I almost forget what it's like. But
Harrison,
it's cool.
you were 25 years old. I remember when I was 25 years old, a decade ago.
It's a good age. It's
I
a
was
great
going
age.
through sort of I don't know, I call it a quarter life crisis. I think everybody did.
Really? Okay.
I quit my job. I was having issues with my long-term boyfriend.
Right. Yeah.
I was kind of just a little bit psycho.
Yeah.
How psycho are you right now?
Yeah, I'm very psycho. I'm like incredibly psycho. I'm losing it a little bit. I think I'm coming to the point where I'm starting to realize, obviously the career thing is like, what am I doing and how am I going to get there? And there's so many different decisions I can make, and I'm worried like I don't want to waste this whole decade doing one thing when I should be doing something else.
Yeah.
But then on the other side, 25, I like it. It's cool. It's young. Great friends. And
you're in one of the best cities in the world.
The city's cool. I like it. Yeah, I dig it. I love the people. The people are the best, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm starting to, I feel like 27 is when starts getting real, like the 30 is approaching, and then when you're 30, I feel like I'm 30. I'm okay with that.
Well,
that's the way I'm looking at it.
This is how I see it. Like after you graduate
Yeah.
from college, you feel like you're invincible. You're like,
Right.
ooh,
I know.
I got a degree. I have a job.
I just want to start like
paycheck.
do whatever
I
I
have
want.
a
Yeah.
paycheck. I can pay for my own rent.
So true.
I may even get sent out on business trips. Where
Yeah.
a company will pay for my trip. You think you're like
It's-
the shit, right?
Right,
And then 25 comes, and you're like, what am I doing with my
Oh,
life?
it's so true. And
Right?
even like after you graduate, a year later, you're like, fuck, I'm doing this for the rest of my life? Like 30 years?
Yeah.
Like, I have to do this?
And
So
this is the
it's a
one
little crazy.
It's
Yeah.
unnerving, right? This is one thing I hear
Yeah.
from every 25-year-old I've met, including myself.
Right.
You get to a point in your career where you go, I don't want to be my boss.
Ah,
And that's
I know.
like the cringe-worthy factor of working sometimes when,
Yeah.
when you're at that quarter-life
Right.
crisis where you're like, I have no aspirations of being this person who's right above me, right?
I know, and it's tricky. And then, like the millennial cliche, I want to create impact. And then you start realizing, like, what does that actually mean? Like, I've always said I want to create impact, probably like every single person listening, but you start to realize, okay, what's realistic and what's idealistic, and
Yeah.
it's hard to balance the two. The dream scenario,
Yes.
and then because you see your friends like traveling the world and it looks cool.
Yeah.
And then
they come back and they're broke.
Yeah, exactly. So how do you balance kind of both sides?
And same with
It's tough.
relationships too. I feel
Right.
like right after college, I met someone and I was like, I'm ready for marriage. This is the
Right.
one. 25 hit and I was like, this is not the one. I haven't even
Yeah.
lived life
Oh,
yet.
100%. That's why my sister actually started dating someone when she first moved to New York right out of school. And I was telling her, like, when I first graduated, I'm so happy I didn't date anyone for 2 years. Because you don't even know yourself at that point. So why my opinion was always, why date someone seriously right away before I even know what I like, what I'm interested in, or any of that. But with relationships, it's tricky. I think a lot of us, because our 20s are so valuable, why would I waste it with someone I don't see a long-term thing with? But then the other side is, it's cool to get out and about, meet some ladies, have a good time, right?
But
so it's hard to balance.
I think, I agree, the balance part is tough because I do believe that my long-term relationship in my 20s shaped who I am today.
How long were you guys together?
5 years.
From what age?
From 23 to 28.
The heart of your 20s.
Yes.
In a relationship.
In New York.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
Oh
and I
my
really
God.
feel like, I don't think I wasted my time, but I definitely felt like that warmed me up. It was like a dress rehearsal for what's to come.
Long dress rehearsal.
It's a pretty long dress rehearsal.
During significant years,
But what is it like dating as a millennial these days?
It's hard. It's hard because a couple things. Number one, the options, I think, overwhelm us instantly. Like, if I go on a great date, I come back, I might be on an app, right, an hour later, and she might be on an app an hour later. So it's tough to really justify that or to really understand, the whole one for one and, like, the true love. But then you realize there are so many people out there. There are so many people out there. It's insane. So the chances of finding someone that you connect with it's pretty high. You just have to be proactive. But long story short, it's not easy. Like, there are so many headaches, and I've, like, blogged about it and talked about it a few times, but it's kind of a headache, yeah.
Well,
you want to have someone, too. It's more fun to have someone, in my opinion, right? Yeah. Like, being single, the one-night stands, they're cool. They keep things interesting, but
it's the accessibility of people.
Right.
People were always there. It's not like all of a sudden they appeared, but with online dating and the internet, it's like the accessibility. Right. But you did something really interesting.
Yeah.
Tell us about what is this Facebook Live
experiment
that you did?
So this was pretty crazy, actually. So around a year, actually no, it was a few months ago, I wanted to explore dating and the authentic first date experience, right? We always talk about, here are the crazy Tinder stories, or here are the marriages that happen from Bumble, but what about the first date, which all of us experience, and no one talks about it. Most of them are, like, pretty average. So what I did, long story short, and I could talk about this for a couple hours, as I'm sure you're aware, but
we have 2 minutes.
Yeah, in these 2 minutes, so I use Facebook Live to record my first date, pre-date in an Uber. Am I nervous? Am I excited? Am I anxious? Halftime report from the bathroom of the bar.
Oh, a play-by-play.
Exactly, play-by-play. So I'm broadcasting this to an audience of close to 1,000 people, and they're watching, listening. She ordered Guinness, interesting decision. What's the ambiance like? Did I go for the hug? Did we handshake? Handshake. How's it going? Well, I'm not a handshake guy, but it was for the laughs, And then a post-date recap. But long story short, crazy experience, traumatic experience. But I wanted to show people, like, what your podcast is doing, that, we're all going through the same shit. We're all going through the same stuff. And the only way for us to really get over the anxiety of not finding someone and having bad experiences is to really just hear other people talk about it, I think. So that was the goal.
Was there a name for this experiment?
Yeah, it was called Updating, and it was through my blog called Brunch Media. The blog's still around. You can check it out, but for many reasons, I'm not really live broadcasting my dates anymore. I met someone, number one, before my 2-week, or before I just became single. I did meet someone. It's also not sustainable to broadcast your date every week. It's tough to find love, as I'm sure you know, when you're broadcasting your whole life on the internet. So.
But the content that's already been broadcast, can we find that
You
somewhere?
can find it. It's online.
You can.
It's online. It's on our Facebook page. Check it out.
Oh my
The
gosh.
Brunch Media Facebook page. Watch the halftime report, the first halftime report.
You guys, this is like the future of dating. Before
right?
you go on a date with someone, you know nothing about them. Now you can go on their blog and watch their previous dates.
Exactly. I think we all should do it. I was trying to get a revolution, you know? Like, why can't everyone live broadcast their dates? I wanted a woman in Argentina, a guy in New York, like globally. We're just talking about our dates and we're broadcasting them, right?
No, that's what we try to create with this podcast, is that we want to create this conversation, because dating is something that people don't talk about with each other.
Yeah.
They think about it, they process it, they talk about it with their friends. But the issue with broadcasting your dates,
a lot of issues.
Well,
quite a few issues.
What was the biggest issue?
The biggest issue, number one, was the woman or the girl I was going on the dates with not knowing I was doing it, and then coming home and saying, wow, that's a little crazy. Even though the humor, I wasn't making fun of her. It was like self-deprecating.
Yeah.
That was the biggest issue, I think. Because I was trying to be like this millennial finding romance in San Francisco, like I'm looking for someone, but then people think it's a little psycho that I'm doing this while I'm finding romance, you know?
Well, because ultimately it's almost like a conflict of interest. Are you looking to create great content, or are you really looking to find someone?
Exactly. Like, some people thought I was trolling them. Like, are you actually serious, dude? Like, is this a real thing? I was like, this is me. You know, I didn't have experience broadcasting my dates. Like, this is my authentic self. Some people laugh. Some might have cried. Hopefully not cried. But it was cool. The first date I went on, she never texted me back. Second time, we actually did go on another date, which was cool. Went well. But yeah, it was a crazy experience. People still ask me about it, and I honestly thought more people would be down to do it, and that was why I did it. Like, oh, everyone's gonna start doing it, but turned out I was the only neurotic, crazy Jewish kid willing to broadcast their dates. But
so you're kind of like a millennial male Carrie Bradshaw.
I'm trying to be. Yeah, exactly. I guess, you know, the relatable, you know, the nouveau bro you could go with. Like the nouveau bro, I think, is a recent term. But yeah, in a nutshell, I was just trying to show, like, dudes my age, and we talk about it all the time. We freak out just as much as girls do with texts and first dates and like DTR, but the problem is, dudes, we don't really talk about it as often, but we do freak out about it. We do. Like, if you're listening to this and you're telling yourself, no, I've never asked my friend, what time should I text her? You're lying, right? Like, you're lying. We do too. Like, guys do too. I'm telling you.
I get Facebook messages all the time from my guy friends who are like, I saw this girl at the gym. I think she's really cute. How do I approach her? Unbelievable. Or, you know, like, she hasn't texted me back in like 3 days. What do I do?
We
all
freak
the
out.
time.
I do think a lot of women underestimate how emotional guys are. Like, I think I'm very emotional, but I think most guys are around my speed. We just don't broadcast it.
No Facebook Live.
We don't broadcast it, but you know what I mean, though? Like, we're just as emotional. And,
well, I feel like this whole male perspective on dating is a really recent thing. Because, you know, like, Carrie Bradshaw was like the first kind of woman journaling, chronicling dating. It's always been women. And then all of a sudden, you know, men are starting blogs about their dating experiences. We had Madison Perry, who wrote a book about his dating
Aziz
experience.
Ansari, Modern Romance.
Exactly. I love it. I love this revolution.
It's cool,
It's great to see the male perspective, because sometimes I wondered if guys felt the same way, or they felt like the same spark or the same chemistry. Yeah. You know, it's nice to hear the opposite side. So
there's a stereotype.
There is a stereotype.
Movies of the woman waiting by the phone and all that.
Yeah, it's true.
Movies never play the guy that way.
The guy, like, we're freaking out about texting her which emoji, you know, should I go with the... my favorite is I've been using the glasses a lot recently. The glasses emoji. It's cool. It's not like the flirtiest.
Oh, like,
but I'm saying, like, freaking out what emoji.
The
no,
sunglasses?
not even the sunglasses, like the regular glasses. It's cool, like it's sophisticated, right?
Wait,
Hashtag
what?
millennial problems.
You don't like that? I think it's cool. It shows a different side. A lot of guys will go with the wink, right? I'm trying to change it up, like the glasses, maybe the tongue sticking out.
Harrison,
Okay.
You're trying to flirt with
I'm
someone.
a good flirter. I've gotten better at texting.
Like,
yeah.
what's a line like? Oh, you look cute tonight,
Um,
and then glasses emoji.
like, like, baby, you look gorgeous. You know,
and then glasses emoji.
Like, good thing you're not going to study hall tonight. Actually, no, that would be a little weird, but.
Study.
No, I'm trying to think of like the glasses if you take it in the literal sense.
Oh,
But think of the glasses in the figurative sense, right? It's like, it's quirky. You're not feeling it, really? Okay, it's cool. It's cool.
If some guy texted
Wait,
me and
you're
ended
really
it,
against that
I'm not
emoji?
against it, but this
I'm
is
not saying only use that emoji.
This is my perspective. Oh,
Like,
what? Tell me about this
okay.
like emoji pairing that you're talking
All
about.
right, so the emoji game is huge. It's very important, right?
Please tell me more.
Okay, so you need a diverse emoji game, and not just the faces. Like, I think the namaste praying one is big. You know, like sending a blessing, you're blessing up. Like, that's a great one.
Do you use that when you're texting a girl that you just met on like Bumble or something?
Of course, why not?
But in what context?
If it's like, you know, what are you up to this weekend? Oh, I'm hanging out. Should be a great time with friends, and then like the namaste emoji. Is there nothing wrong with that? Okay.
I have a thousand
some of this
questions
is.
for you.
All right, no, I like this.
Have you ever gotten laid strictly from emojis?
I think it's had something to do with it. Yeah, because
Have you A/B tested this? I've
A/B. Yeah, my emoji game is drastically diversified over the years, and I think you have to. And you try different things, like the pure smiling emoji. It's a little boring, right? Like, why would I send that? Every guy sends that.
You gotta differentiate yourself.
How else am I gonna stand out? There are a million dudes in San Francisco.
And they're all sending the smiley emoji or the winky emoji.
Yeah, that's so. I'm not gonna say basic, but you can be a little more creative.
There was a guy that I met on Tinder who used to send a black hand emoji.
No. What?
Just a black hand.
What?
and it was like,
In what
good morning.
context? Just anything?
Good morning,
That's
black hand.
Was he
insane.
African American?
No, he was not. White as can be.
That's literally crazy.
I love that he had to explicitly select that one.
Explicitly select that, and it was always like a thumb up or a thumb down, but it made no sense in the context. So I don't know.
crazy.
There's like underlying.
There are different
meanings.
emoji trends. I've been thinking about putting together a list, like the top 10 emojis to flirt with.
Okay.
We should create one.
Let's do that. I like that.
The top 10, top 15 emojis.
Okay, I'm gonna look at what you use the most.
Okay.
Okay, so
Frequently
glasses,
used.
Oh,
kissy.
yeah.
Okay, so
This is
Harrison
good.
likes to use the namaste.
I love it. Yeah, I really do like
Number
it.
one on his
Gentlemen
list.
listening, I mean, it really is great, especially if you do yoga and can back it up, right? Like while
There you
you're.
go.
You also have a black hand emoji that you use quite a bit. It's the okay
Time to time.
one.
Time to time.
All right, that's interesting. Is this a goat?
That is not really for the dating context.
What is
Goat is like the greatest of all time. So like talk about an athlete or that date last night, but she was the goat or something.
And I would
What else
say
do I have
my
that's crazy?
favorite from your list here would be the sideways angry cat emoji.
Which one's that? You use that?
I didn't
Really?
even know there was a
Oh.
sideways
I'm
cat.
like basic emoji.
Seriously?
I'm really
Basic, yeah. I
Emojis
need to up my
are-
emoji
I think
game.
it's the age gap.
It must be.
No, you think?
Yeah.
Emojis have been around for 10 years probably, right? The emoji
Wait.
game is tough. I have to admit.
When do you use the sideways angry cat?
I think it's like a different roll your eyes to the back of your head. You know, like that one where the eyes are looking up.
Oh, so it's like
So
a
the
less
side,
obvious.
yeah, it's kind of like it's like a passive aggressive.
You seem like a guy who's a pretty active dater,
Well,
right?
yes and
you-
no,
And
yes
you've
and
been
no.
single for 2 weeks. I'm
2
guessing
weeks.
you've gone on a few dates by now.
Honestly, I haven't really.
Oh wow.
2 weeks. I think when you end a relationship, you need some time, right, to get back into the swing of things.
Okay.
Yeah, it's tricky. I think when you, like, right now I'm debating, do I go on the apps again? I'm going through that debate. Do I do that again? You know, that was like my phase 1 in San Francisco, doing the app thing. And
That seems to be the easiest way.
it's easy. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I could get a date. Everyone listening, we could probably get a date tomorrow on Tinder, Bumble, any one of these apps. But I think what it comes down to is that, you know, the time and money equation, number one, which a lot of guys do think about, like from time to time. And number two, a part of me still believes in like the whole fairy tale thing, you know, the serendipitous interaction that's going to be like the thing, you know? It's tricky.
I don't want you to
Does not
represent
exist.
all millennials, but do
Yeah.
you feel like a lot of your peers feel that way too?
Yeah, I think right now a lot of people, like we've been on, online dating apps have been around for like our entire post-grad life.
Yeah,
like,
your
for
entire
us,
dating
right?
career.
My entire, yeah, exactly.
You didn't know any different.
Exactly, right? And I think a lot of us, you know, we've had good experiences, shitty, some okay, and now we're coming to the point, a lot of my friends are, I mean, we're just not really as active as we once were.
I'm curious how you and your friends view online dating, because for
Right.
me, when I started my dating career
Yeah.
or whatever, status quo is you meet people in real life, and it
Right.
was taboo when online dating took off.
I think if any of us had the option of meeting person X, same exact person via app, or with some cute little story from a coffee shop, you know, I think we
Yeah.
would choose that.
Well, I think that brings up an interesting perspective on this, which is, this is a whole other episode,
Right.
is that we sometimes, because everyone online dates so much, that we're chasing a story. I know people who get into relationships because they met that person in an interesting way. The relationship may not be healthy, but they're like, the story is very
Interesting. Yeah, I think for that, like some of us, why do we care so much? You know, it's such an interesting part of like the way we think about it. You know, we kind of do care about the brand of our relationship, which we shouldn't. It's just the social media, everyone knows everything, this whole age of dating, and that's why the story, I think, is definitely more important. But then the other thing, like with dating apps, I guess it's kind of like people in general, but let's say I swiped left on my ex-girlfriend, I never would have met her, you know? So how do you justify that? That like just a tiny little move could impact your entire life?
Yeah.
Like you could marry someone by a simple thing. What if I accidentally swipe left? So I think about that sometimes, right? Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
It's nuts. Yeah, it's really crazy.
So do you have like a crazy or interesting dating story for us?
I have a few. There's actually like a 2-month span where the most ridiculous things started happening to me like every other week. Ask any of my friends, like things out of nowhere. So this is ridiculous, honestly. Like, this was crazy.
I have my glasses emoji right here.
Okay, it's a good story. It's a good story.
Namaste.
So, okay, so I'm hanging out with my friends. My college friends are in town. My San Francisco friends of friends. We're just like a classic male pregame, so to speak. We're just hanging out. We're relaxing. We're about to go out. All of a sudden, I get a FaceTime call from a number that I don't have her name, and it's 2 girls in bed. And I was like blown away at first. 2 girls lying in bed. They were clothed. They were wearing something. They're like, "Hey, Harrison." And I was like, "Wait, what? Who are you? Like, what? This is, like, I've never seen you before." I get paranoid about some of these things too, so I'm like freaking out. And they're like, "Hey, Harrison, you remember us, right?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" They're like, "We had sex last weekend." Yeah.
All 3 of us.
Yeah. And I'm like, "Wait, what are you talking about?" I look at my friends. I was like, "Wait, what was I doing last weekend?" Like, I don't think we've ever met before. So I freak out. I give my phone to my friend to talk to them. And I'm like freaking out. Like, how do they know? Is it my buddy in Chicago? Because I looked up the area code.
Yeah.
You know, Chicago. I was like, oh, it's got to be my friend playing a prank on me. And it turned out it wasn't. So my friends are talking to them, like trying to set up, I guess, for us to meet up, which was crazy to me. And long story short, because I could go on and on, but so I figured out who it was. I went into my phone. My friend was like, all right, type in the phone in your messages, right? Type in the number, and then you could see the thread, right? So I typed in the number, and it was a girl I had messaged on Bumble a 1.5 years ago. We never met up in person. like over a year later, out of nowhere, she FaceTimed me.
What?
How insane is that? If I did that to a girl, oh my God, can you imagine?
You should do it right
I would
now.
be the creepiest person ever.
In bed.
I probably
Get in
should
bed.
do it. We should do it on video.
There's a bed right here.
We really, yeah, I should. I don't know if I can pull it off. Like, that's the crazy thing. Like, because it's just crazy. Like, if I did that to a girl, she would probably report my phone number, block my number, call the police. Like, who the fuck is this? But because I'm a dude.
Restraining order.
But
all
I'm such
that.
a dude sometimes. I'm like, two cute girls in bed. I was just curious, but I was definitely weirded out.
So what was the outcome of this?
I actually did end up meeting up with her that night.
That night!
Oh,
Was
very
your friend with
interesting.
her? Wow.
Crazy.
Maybe this is her pickup line.
Yeah, but where was her friend?
Her friend came out with her, actually, but was going after one of my friends who had a girlfriend.
Tag team.
Yeah.
I see.
And
then what was the outcome of that?
We had a night and didn't see her. Didn't really see her again.
And all your friends were like...
They were blown away. They were like, "That's the craziest thing I've ever
Your friends must
seen."
have been so impressed by you.
Yeah.
They thought I was like the man.
shit.
Yeah.
Like high-fiving
But
you.
like, is that a reputation I want? Like getting random FaceTimes like a year later? Like,
I don't know, darling.
it's crazy. I don't know. I don't think. No, I want to be the good Samaritan, right?
Just send her a prayer.
Send her the namaste.
Yeah.
What's your general dating philosophy?
I honestly think like the best things that have happened to me were when I was reactive and not proactive. Like I didn't FaceTime her, right? I was reactive to that. Or I wasn't actively looking for someone and like going crazy and stressing myself out and trying to set up 3 dates. When I first moved out to San Francisco, I was going on dates like 3 or 4 a week with women I was not interested in. You know, I was just like doing it. And when I stopped doing that and started like focusing on the rest of my life and then dating, like good things with dating, they happen, you know? At the end of the day, you know, for me, like, and who I've always looked for, just someone who, it's not a whole operation when we're hanging out. It's just like I would hit her up like a friend, you know, and we're just chilling. We're doing stuff I would do with my friends.
And like also with your friends, you respect them. And
right.
I think that's what's lost in dating these days.
For
that
sure.
you don't, people are not respecting the people they go on dates with.
Exactly.
You have to respect them like a friend.
Right.
What I'm hearing you say is treat every date like an adventure, so you
100%.
don't know what to expect.
You have no idea. Well, I think in life, dating, specifically dating, growth will only happen when you get outside your comfort zone. Mm-hmm. Like, it really will. And I've done a lot of things. I've done some things, obviously, that were a little crazy, but definitely beyond my typical comfort zone. Even this, like, talking about hooking up with girls, like, on a podcast, outside my comfort zone, you know?
Oh, is it?
Well, not, all right, maybe not me, like, that crazy, but different, see? But yeah, so that's kind of my outlook.
Can you give our listeners any advice on how to filter for dates? Because you said something that I really like, which is stop going on dates with people that you're just wasting their time.
It's a waste of time.
Yeah.
It's a waste of time.
How do you filter then?
When I am online dating, I don't want to, like, before we set up our first date, I don't want to be messaging for more than like 6 messages, you know? Because at that point, you might as well just meet up in person. So within those 6 messages, you really have to like make sure you're on the same emotional playing field, intellectual. Obviously, the physical is the first thing with online dating. Like, you just see her picture or his picture, right? You see her picture. But yeah, I think filter like some sort of intellectual or emotional. Just make sure you're like on the same wavelength, right?
Yeah,
on
definitely.
a lot of those things. And creative. Like, if I texted someone like some quirky creative message and they're like, "Oh, cool, how are you?" or something, filter, gone. You know, I need something creative, right? Because that's kind of basic.
Just throw him a glasses emoji.
I'm like, "Yo, what up? How's your week going?" And she said, "Good, NMU," or something like that, like JCU, which...
What is that?
Like just chilling, which I used to use back in the AIM days. I don't say that anymore, but in the AIM days, I used to say that.
What's
You know what I mean? What?
What's NMU?
NM, like nothing much you. You remember that, right? Like back in the day.
NMU?
NM, like
Yeah, I've heard
how are you? Or like what are you up to? NMU, like
NM.
I don't really say that anymore.
Oh.
Point is, like in those few messages, you need someone who's gonna be a little different, right?
Well, Harrison, I have a feeling that once this episode airs, we're gonna get a bunch of girls who are going to ask about you.
Oh wow! Okay.
So where can they?
That's
if
crazy.
This happens. Where can they find you?
Wow, that actually does happen.
Mm-hmm.
So you can find. So I'm on every platform: Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, HT Foreman, and my blog. Check out my blog. I write about dating. Elite Daily actually posts a couple articles of mine. The blog is called Brunch Media. So if you like brunch and right, I think we all do. And if you have dated recently, which I think all of us have, check out the blog. But no, this was a blast. This was great.
Cool.
Awesome.
Love
Fun.
it.
Amazing.
Thank you so much.
Great
Now,
laughs,
listeners
great
at,
emojis.
listeners at home, if you have a kind of a cool dating story, funny, interesting, shocking, or if you just want to talk about dating as a millennial, because I find this interesting. I feel so far removed from
You're
your
still
generation.
millennial. We're still millennials. Mate, we're all millennials.
No. After talking to you, like NMU, I don't, no idea. No idea.
All right, when you start using that emoji,
That wasn't
then
even the right usage.
No, it doesn't even matter. I don't. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. IDK.
It's tough out there. It's tough out there. You know, it's tough out there.
So if you have some millennial stories or anecdotes of your own, reach out to us. We love to hear from you. And with that said, 1, 2, 3.
Stay dateable.
Now you can meet new people who share similar interests over brunch. Check out 500 Brunches and be sent on, well, you guessed it, brunches all over the city with new people each time. Come alone or bring a friend. There's always a table full of friendly faces, mimosas, and eggs Benedict. Sign up at 500brunches.com and use the code DATEABLE for a free entry. To connect with us, visit dateablepodcast.com. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all under Dateable Podcast.